Hey, welcome everybody to the second in our Koha webinar series. In this webinar, I'm going to take you on a tour of the Koha OPAC, and I'm just going to highlight some of the functionality that's available within the OPAC and basically give you a tour of what you can do with it, how the catalogue looks when you're searching, and also having a look at the patron account functionality. So I am going to be using our demo system throughout this webinar, but I wanted to start the webinar session by explaining that you can actually change the look and feel of the OPAC. So what we're seeing on our demo system here is quite grey and white and really not visually appealing necessarily. We tend to leave it pretty much out the box when on our demo system, but we can see that we've got our search bar available at the top. We've got some navigational links underneath. We've got some navigational links at the left-hand side, the ability to log into your account on the right-hand side. And then we have added some colour into the main body by putting some carousels on here. And this is the first thing I wanted to say is that really the Koha system in general, both the OPAC and the staff side, are incredibly configurable, and you as library staff are able to do all of this for yourselves using the administration tools. There's no technical knowledge needed, and you can obviously ask us at PTFS Europe to do the work, but you are able to do it yourself. So what you're seeing here, these nice cover flows, we would install the plugin for you, and then you can set them up yourselves as you need to as well. So I'm going to show you some other systems just so you can get a little bit of a feel for the different looks and feels and what libraries have done with them. So I'm going to start by looking at the British Museums. Now, they used to have a really nice floating photograph in it, which they seem to have taken away, but it's still a nice one to show you because they've put their search bar in the middle of the screen. So again, that's just slightly different to look at. And then they've got quite a lot of text in here. They're sort of telling their users about the library, about planning a visit, about how to do reservations. And at the bottom, they've got their footer information, which is consistent with the footer information throughout the British Museum's website. And obviously they've got links to get how to get there and all that kind of thing as well, and some resources on the right-hand side. If we have a look at this one, this is the City of Glasgow College. And theirs looks a little bit different because they've added their college colours into it. So this kind of teal and purple colour. But they've split their search up so that they can search specifically across the books, the collection, the printed collection, but also the electronic resources. So they've put this little filter on that homepage so that the users can refine their search before they start. They've also got their navigational links over at the right-hand side. And again, they've got the use of the carousel, and they've got their footer information with the social networking links. So they put that into the library catalogue as well. Another one of our Scottish-based customers is the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. This again looks quite different. They've got navigational links on the left, but in blocks of colour. Then they've got posts over at their Twitter feed embedded in at the right-hand side. They've got information about the library, and again, you can see that these are all sort of split into different blocks as well. So they give people who are looking at the catalogue the option to book a library tour from this platform and so on as well. And then they've got their carousels display. Another one to look at is National Archives, and this one again isn't too fancy, but they've got an A to Z list of electronic journals and databases here, which is just another thing I like to sort of show that they can provide links in to resources in this way as well. Oh, And then I wanted to show this final one, which is the European Southern Observatory. I should emphasise that all of these sites that I'm showing you are our customers, and we do have many other examples of good OPACs out there, and we can certainly give you links to our customer list, which has a lot of them on it, or any other site of interest to you as well. The ESO one, I quite like to show because they've done something quite fancy and they've done it themselves. And if I, so they've got their search bar and everything at the top, as you can see here. They've got information about the catalogue and about the library, but they've also got floor plans. So they've got an upper floor and a lower floor plan here. And what happens is if I hover over variable stars here, hopefully you can see just about here that it's highlighting. So it's giving the user an interactive view of where to find subject categories on the floor plan. I just think actually quite nifty, and they did this themselves as well. So again, it's just to give you a flavour of the art of the possible, really. So that was just a little bit of a show and tell of some catalogues and looking at the styling options that are available to you. And for the remainder of the session, I will be using our demonstration system. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is search. You've got your search bar here. Now, Koha it's just like Google. Everybody's familiar with doing Google searches. You get your search bar, you can just bang in some search terms and get your results. Or, of course, you can be very specific. So by default, it's a library catalogue, which is a keyword search, but you can obviously specify a particular index if you want to. And if you've got a multiple site library, you can then also search across all libraries, select individual ones, or you can group together libraries as well into little clusters, maybe by region or by sort of campus area, or however you wanted to divide them, you can put them in there. So I'm just going to do a simple search across all libraries for search term of management. Koha then does the search for you and it returns the number of results. So in this case, it's found 1,730. It will show so many per page. So obviously I've got multiple pages here and you can specify how many per page. I think the default's 20, but I think we've got it set to 50 or whatever on our system, but you can set it to be however many you want. What you're noticing on this page as well is that it's also doing some integration with the library's Overdrive collection. So we can ingest ebooks into Koha as well. And Overdrive have got a search API, which allows us to plug it in so that a single search will also search their collection and pull the resources through. And we've also got a wee integration with the Open Library collection as well. So we're getting results from 3 sources here. But we're only concentrating on Koha today. On the left-hand side, you've got your search filters, your facets. So I can limit my records. So if I think 1,730 is a little bit too many, let's say I'm only interested to see what I've actually got in as that are books or that I've got in a specific library, then I can filter it down on these as well. The numbers in brackets reference how many records are available that match this search filter. Most of our libraries tend to switch those numbers off, but that's what they represent. Now what we can see as well is that on our results page we get some basic information, and this very top one has actually got an online resource, and in our demo system we've highlighted that within a box to make it really clear to the user that that is an online access. If we scroll down a little bit further, you can see that number 2, number 3, for example, they've got book covers appearing. So Koha will display book covers if there's matching ISBNs, and it integrates with third-party providers such as BDS or any synthetics, Unbound, that sort of thing. But equally, we can use, in our case, the free services offered by Google or Amazon to pull through the book covers. And you can also upload your own cover should you wish to do so as well, your own image if there's not a match. Let's go in and have a look at record, a full display of a record. So I've just picked the second one in the list here. Again, our book cover comes through. You can see that the term management is highlighted. So your user might sometimes be a little bit surprised as to why they've been presented with a result when it doesn't match, and it will match somehow. So it's possibly, for example, in the contents or a subject area which they wouldn't see from that first screen. So highlighting can be switched off, though. Some people think it's a bit annoying, so do switch it off. But it is there by default. We get more information on the full details page, as you would expect. So the search results is only brief descriptive information. The full view gives us more bibliographic information. And things that are hypertext links as well. So your authors, your publication details, your subject headings, they're all hypertext links, and we can go and execute another search on that particular topic. The bottom of the screen, you've got your holdings area. So this will tell us what material that we've got. So we've got a book. In this case, it's on the general shelves at the main library. Obviously, if we have multiple copies, they would be listed here. And you can separate your tabs out as well, so that you can say local library if you're logged in, versus holdings in all other libraries on the system. In this particular case, this one is available, so the user could go to the shelf. If the item was on loan, it would say it was checked out or on loan, but it wouldn't obviously give details of who the user was. But the status should be reflective and is updated in real time as well. You can also have this browse shelf functionality. This is a virtual shelf browser. And if I just click on that, what it does is it looks to the call number, the classification number for this chosen material, and it gives you a shelf browser as well. So we can scroll through and see what's located nearby on the shelf, and it pulls through the covers. So obviously it's not going to, if a user was to go to the shelf, they're maybe not going to see these two right beside each other, but it's just sort of looking at what is in and around that shelf as well. If they're interested in one of these, they can then just click on the link and they get taken through to that particular record as well. So it's a nice little feature. Over on the right-hand side, we have got our options, so we can go back to our results list. We can navigate between our results. We can place reservations or recalls on material if you allow these to happen. So you're in control of your own configuration, whether or not you're allowing people to place reservations on your material and so on. I'm going to come back to the cart in a moment. Again, another option that's available is to report concerns. So if you see something wrong with a catalogue record, you can report that to the library. Again, configurably, you can switch on the QR codes. So I can scan that, you save that record into my device. I can save the record in any of these formats, should I wish to as well. And I can repeat my search in any other source that I want to configure in this area here. Okay. You can also utilize social networking sharing links, or you can switch them off, however you want to use that. I'm now going to show you the advanced search. And this allows us to mix and match between our search terms. But what it does allow us to do is filter before we execute our search. So we can see here, we've got filters available at the bottom of the screen, and we can also filter on specific item types and such like as well. So I'm just going to do a quick subject search for garden, and I'm going to just see what's available within books in the library. So excluding electronic resources, excluding things that maybe be marked as reference material, that sort of thing. I'm just looking for books. And when I search, I then get my results as before, but only 14 because I've done a filter. Now, I mentioned that I'll come back to cart. What you're able to do here is select records by ticking them. So say I'm interested in these three. From here, I can add in batch to the cart, or I can also add to cart from individual records as well. And basically, this is like Amazon, like you're shopping, you're finding things you're interested in and you're putting them to the side, you're putting them in your cart, and then you can come back and review them later. So now I've got 3 items in my cart. And when I click on the cart here, I've got details and I can send them to myself. I can download, I can print them out. So it's just a way of sort of saving them for later. I've also got Koha list functionality. Now, this shows me public lists that have been set up by the library, and these can be used for any purpose, whether it's for promoting special collections or like new stock or anything you like. But if I wanted to have a look at, oh, what's in cookery books, all I need to do is click on that list and I'm given my results. So it's sort of giving the user a browsing mechanism. It's a category that they might not know what they're looking for, but you're giving them some details there. Okay, moving on, I'm going to log into my account. Now, when a user logs into their account, it's using their library credentials, so their username and then, which also could be their barcode, a username and password. You can optionally have forgot your password link enabled, and you can allow, again, optionally users to create accounts using self-registration. When I log in, I'm now into my account and I'll come back to the details here, but I'm going to return home just momentarily because once a user's logged into their account, the home screen provides them with a summary, and each of these are links. So I can click on the link to go into my checkouts. I can click on my name to go into my account here. So I just wanted to show that that's available on the home screen. I can also see I'm welcomed up the top here, and I can go into my account from here as well. So there's various ways to go in. So I'll just click on my name again, and that takes me into my account. Now, what you're seeing here again is configurable. You can choose to switch things off. So for example, if you are in an organization that uses single sign-on, you might not want your users to be able to change their password. So you would just disable that option from appearing on the left-hand side. But what we do see is the left-hand side gives us menu options into various things to do with our account. The library can send the user messages, which they can pick up when they view and then can dismiss them when they've finished with them. And then you've got information at the bottom related to things like what you've got checked out, any money that's owing to the library. If you want to use Koha clubs, then it will show you what members of the clubs you've got, what reservations there are, and so on and so forth. Now, whilst I'm in this reservations tab, what I can also do is cancel any reservations that I'm no longer needing. I can suspend them, which basically means I'm pausing them. So if I'm going on holiday for a little while, I can't collect them, I can suspend them and then unsuspend when I come back. From my checked out tab, it shows the dates that things are due. If I can renew them, it will tell me, in this case, animals of the tropical forests. I can renew this, and I've got 8 out of 10 renewals remaining. So it keeps account of how many renewals you have. I can do it in batch as well, so I can choose to renew all of them, or I could just renew an individual one. So let's just renew that animals of the tropical forest. I can click the link there, or I can renew the selected button, use the renew selected button at the bottom. Some things can't be renewed, like this one's on hold. Maybe also things can't be renewed because the user's reached the total number of renewals allowed and that sort of thing too. Just to show some things at the left-hand side, by default, you can see things like your checkout history, previous things that you've borrowed. The same with your holds history, that's your reservations, and you can output this data as well and print it off and such like. I can also have things like, you can put consent details on, so I have to agree to the privacy policy. And in the privacy tab as well, I just mentioned it will retain my checkout history, but as a user, I can say actually stop recording that. So it's you know, complying with the GDPR legislation and so on. So you've got all of this kind of information on the left-hand side. Charges as well will show you how much you're owing the library, and you can actually use online payments as well. You could do PayPal, and you can integrate with third-party payment providers down here too. If you're a public library or some other kind of library that you want to have linked accounts, so you can have parent and child or just sort of guarantor and guarantee type relationships. Again, that facility is available within Koha, and you can see relatives checkouts and relatives fines owing as well if you configure it to show that. And I just wanted to go back to also explain that you can have private lists as well. So a user can create their own lists. So this can be really useful for students, for example, in a college or a university that have got an assignment to do, and they're using the library to see what items the library have got that will help them write that essay. And they maybe want to create their list so that they can then tick them off as and when they've read them. So now I'm logged into my account. I've got the lists option at the left-hand side, which will allow me to create new lists. It will also allow me to delete lists once I'm finished with them. I can edit them to add things on to them and so on. I can also share lists with other people by sending them an email. So again, students, I've created my own list and I want to share it with Sam because I think, that really helped her as well. I've done the research, so no need for her to do it. I've already created the list of resources in the library. And of course, I can then access my lists from my account on the left-hand side, or I've got the ability to get to them from here as well. So, for example, I can click on the library resources link. Also, you can, as a library, determine if you're going to allow the user to change any of their personal details. They can do so using this form, but then it goes through to the staff interface, and library staff then have to approve it. So that means that they can't change their name to be something ridiculous. They can't give you dummy information. So a lot of libraries don't allow this, but just so you're aware that if you do, it has to be approved by library staff as well. And also, if you wanted to, you can allow users to specify their messaging settings. And also, you can allow them to create interlibrary loan requests from the OPAC, and from the user's account, they can see everything that they've requested in the past as well. So I've just looked at the time. I am almost out of my allocated time, but I do hope that that was a worthwhile overview. I hope you found it useful. Really just scratch the surface, I suppose, on what you can achieve by looking at the different brandings, but also looking at the different searching options available to you and the patron account functionality.